14 years ago, I fell completely in love at first sight with a scrawny, malnourished, flea-ridden calico kitten with a bad eye infection. At the time, we had a handsome black and white tuxedo cat who we had named, of course, Tuxedo. We're real original with names. Tux for short. And recently we had started to talk about getting another cat. My husband, Brett, mentioned that he had always wanted a calico cat. But before we had a chance to start looking for a cat, Brett went out of town on his annual Guys Weekend in the Mountains trip. So that Saturday morning, I got up early and I went outside and I started sweeping the deck, Tux at my feet, when all of a sudden I heard, eep, and I looked behind me. Tux was nose to nose with the tiniest calico kitten I had ever seen. She was so thin. So I went and got some wet food and brought it out, put it down for her. She scarfed it down. It was obvious she had been starving. After she ate, I went around to the side of the house and started sweeping the driveway. Tux followed me, and the kitten followed Tux. After a little while, I said to Tux, I need to go inside for a few minutes. I expect you to take care of the baby. That was my name for the kitten at that point. I went in. A couple minutes later, I came back out. Tux was laying in the driveway. The kitten was nowhere in sight. I said to Tux, where's the baby? What happened to the baby? Tux, where did the baby go? And to my surprise, Tux got up, walked over to a low hedge in the front yard, just a few feet away. He poked his nose in the hedge, and the baby came tumbling out. Tux looked at me as if to say, see, Mom, I was taking care of her. Good job, Tux. Well, that night, I realized I had a new concern. Tux was used to spending the night outside, roaming the neighborhood. I didn't want the kitten to be outside at night. The problem was the kitten had become so attached to Tux that I didn't think she would do well being in the house her very first night without him. And I knew that Tux would never agree to being kept inside all night long. I had an idea. I put them on the screened-in back porch. I closed the door that led from the porch to the backyard so they couldn't get out. And I figured, well, they're outside, which Tux prefers, and the kitten is safe. I went to bed. But Tux, who was used to coming and going as he pleased, was not happy with this arrangement, which I discovered the next morning when I came back and discovered Tux had found a little hole in the screen wire, which he had worked at until it was big enough that both he and the kitten were able to get out. They were gone. I was devastated. I knew that Tux would come back, but I didn't know if the kitten would be able to find her way back if she got separated from Tux. That afternoon, Brett came home, and the first thing he said was, where's the new kitten? I can't wait to meet her. Crying, I told Brett what had happened and said, they got out, and I don't know if the kitten will ever come back. Brett looked at me and said, ye of little faith. That kitten was sent to us by God. She is our cat now, and he will return her to us. I hope you're right. The next morning, early, Before the sun had even come up, I went to the back porch, turned on the light, opened the door. I looked out all over the porch. No kitten. My heart sank. And then I heard it. And there, at the bottom of the concrete steps, right at my feet, was the kitten, looking up at me as if to say, "I've been here quite a while. What took you so long?" And that's when I knew. Brett was right. She knew where home was. She was our cat. Today, Callie, yes, we named her Callie. She's a calico. I told you we're real original with names. Is a beautiful lady cat. And I am still completely in love. Thank you.